Legible City Hong Kong is, as an artwork, it belongs to a sort of a very fundamental research trajectory in my art practice, which is to explore the potentiality for interactivity in art. But in the Legible City, the architecture is replaced by the stories, by the text. The core idea is to transform the experience of the city from architecture into a literary experience. It proposed the concept of a virtual world where the viewer was able to navigate, explore, discover. You had 3 iterations of the legible cities. So the first was Manhattan, the second was Amsterdam, and the third was Karlsruhe. And now the fourth is based on a ground plan, a 19th century ground plan of Hong Kong. In the late 70s, early 80s, I started to work with computers, which offered a whole new range of potential, let's say, strategies for interactivity. The initial interaction devices were simple things like buttons or levers, or joystick or whatever, but I was looking for ways to create a more embodied method of engaging the public. I realize a bike is something that most people have an intuitive understanding of how to handle. I really wanted to make a legible city using Chinese characters that would be dedicated to Hong Kong, a place where I've been living for over 12 years. Guy Debord talked about the notion of psychogeography of the city and the understanding that a city is, at its deepest level, a literary space. It's a space of memory. All these streets are saturated with narrative. There's a particular challenge that the Legible City offers. It's an interactive work. A bicyclist who bicycles is creating a spontaneous recombination of words and phrases. A writer who shares this work with me needs to be open to the possibility of entering that literary space.
As soon as I know about the nature of Legible City, I know that it is a combinatory game. The text for the Legible City Hong Kong comes from my novel called Hong Kong Type, a love letter late for 150 years. In this novel, there are 3 storylines, and the third storyline is the one that I adapted for this project. It is a story, a love story set in from 1850s to 1870s between a pair of lovers that they met as students in the Anglo-Chinese college. I decided to propose this because it is related to a very, very special historical typeface called Hong Kong Type. The boy stayed behind as an apprentice in the print office, so his story is he's directly working with the Hong Kong Type in the printing of the Chinese Bible and other texts. And on the other hand, the girl was sold by her stepfather to a brothel in Sheung Wan, and then you can expect that their love relationship is a tragic one.
The Hong Kong Type, as you've explained to me, was developed by Protestant missionaries
to translate the English Bible into Chinese. I was given a software in which all the streets on the map are prepared for me to put characters into them. In this process that I started considering the combination or combinatory possibilities of my text. I always recombine or break up my sentences into an effect or into effects that the audience will feel. For example, at some places there are some 4 characters combinations, like an idiom in Chinese. Then I need to put them together.
We had to find old books which had examples of Hong Kong Type and then digitize this and then transform the digitized versions into three-dimensional objects using software tools to map out the arrangement of these figures in this virtual physical space. Facade view is a unique opportunity given by M+. What it means is that people outside are actually monitoring what's going on inside the building, bringing it out onto the surface of the building and creating another layer of conversation between what this person is doing, what this person is seeing, even more deeply in the Hong Kong context. And this, of course, is quite magical, which has never been there for any previous versions of the Legible City.
My feeling of seeing this work, and that is to experience the word as a physical entity. So when we read texts, we read them as signs. So we don't feel that the texts are physically there. In this work, we see each character as objects that you can move around and go into. And so I think it is something very new and very inspiring for me.
I believe with this work, it's many-layered. It has so many potential places where you can engage with it, so many ways in which you can enjoy it.